Look at her. Look at them. Look at them. Look at her. And Mario Diaz is the Club King. Look at him. Look at her. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Look at Her, the Hey Qween After Show where our super celebrity guest looks at some of the queens they played with, slayed with, or even laid with, and spills a little tea. Fuck this tea, I got Starbucks. Throws a little shade, only if they have to, or just tells us something that we don't know. Today, we have the legendary Club King, actor, singer, performer, Mr. Mario Diaz. Honey,
hi, baby.
Looking sharp.
Thank you. This whole thing.
We love plaid in this house right here.
Yes, we do.
Erica and Adam, do you want to take this opportunity to thank Mario Diaz for the good times you've had in your life?
Thank you. I mean, the Cock is like my favorite place, maybe in the world. And it was the first place that I went. It was the first gay bar that I went to in New York. Foxy was the first party that I ever went to in New York.
Wow, that's pretty ballsy.
Irene was the first person that let me in underage in New York.
A blue.
Oh, wait, what? I didn't hear that.
I remember when I first moved to New York and worked at a restaurant, the other gay waiters said, let's take him to the Cock, and then leave him there by himself.
And he never looked back. Oh.
You're never alone at the Cock.
That is true. Now, Mario, you have associations with so many legendary people.
I do.
It's hard to pare it down, but we've done our best.
Uh-oh.
So, honey, let's just begin. Get comfy, sweetie. That's right. Okay. Oh, he's ready for a Sears portrait. That's a different show. Okay, here we go. Look at her. Ah!
She's horrible.
We have to start with your sissy bestie.
Yes.
Miss Jackee Beat, honey.
You know, my wifey, the Tran Ma, my ball and chain. Been working together for over 25 years. Listen, she's brilliant. Everyone knows it. She's one of the smartest, sharpest, hilarious. Her vocals are amazing. And she's a horrible, horrible person.
How did you guys meet?
She came into Cake, where I did Cream before I opened the Cock. And she came in with a cassette tape. And I just remember this big, gorgeous Qween. And I was like, she's like, here, let me do a number. And I was like, okay, bitch, a cassette tape. Press play. And it was love at first sight. Yeah. And then she was doing some off-Broadway show of Valley of the Dolls out there as Helen Lawson. And I went like 3 times, and we've been best friends ever since. Yeah.
Now, everybody sees the big hair and the sassy songs and the zingers, but you know Jackee Beat better than almost anyone.
Yes, and she's a pussycat. She is such a big heart, and she's so sweet, sweet, sweet. And that's one thing people don't know. She's sort of infamous for being, you know, the biggest bitch who invented everything. And she is a huge bitch. Don't get me wrong. She's awful. But at the core of all that is just a really beautiful person. And, you know, I can't get through a lunch with her without her crying about something that touches her heart, you know, when she talks about her dogs. And I mean, so at the end of the day, the biggest bitch on the planet is just the sweetest person you'll ever know.
What's one of your favorite old school memories? I mean, I'm sure it's hard to delve through the archives of your mind, sweetie, but a fun memory of you, Jackee Beat, and any situation.
Jackee, when she was drinking, you know, there used to be the Jackee Beat, the monster bitch of the universe, and then there was Kent, Jackee, you know, the friend. And over the years, they've sort of fused and gotten a little closer and closer. But yeah, she was pretty ruthless back. I've seen her, you know, kick people off of stages. And I remember one time she was doing a show at the Cock, and I don't remember what it was, but there were numerous times when she would alienate the audience completely and start going off for whatever reason. You've seen Jackee Beat before. You all know. You all know. So, but I was kind of her barometer. Like, she would always shifty eyes to me when I'd be on the light, and she'd always be like looking at me, and she was screaming at the audience, and you know, she thinks that's her at her best, and people love it. Oh, people love it. They love it when I beat the shit out of all of them. Like, yeah, that's their favorite part of the show. Yeah, the part when they get punched in the face. But I just remember I went like this. This was the look I gave her. about that big. It was off. Like she just flipped out.
Wow.
Just threw the mic and just a big thud. She's at me, she's screaming, literally by the neck, 3 feet off the ground, holding me against the wall at the cock.
Honey.
And now we're best friends. It was love. That's how you show love.
That is love.
Just so you know, that's how you show love.
Okay, look at Sherry Vine,
Sherry
your
Vine.
current quarantining
My
partner,
roomie, my
your roomie.
roomie. Sherry Vine she's the Carol Burnett of drag, is how I like to refer to her, and many others. She's been in the game forever, doing plays and sketches and parodies, and she is a workhorse. I mean, this bitch is working out 3 times a day. I know, I've been with her for the last, 300 years in this house of ours. She's always writing, always rehearsing, so I have to listen to that all day long. And she's just, doing a Zoom party and then doing some other virtual show, and she just doesn't stop. She doesn't stop.
Now, she has a taste for a certain rough trade of men.
Oh, yes, she's a world-famous prostitute, yes.
Do you have a recollection of a particularly wild Sherry
Well, all I
Vine
know
moment?
is that when the slut wig is on the chair in the living room, I'm gonna stay in my room for at least a half an hour. She doesn't often take that long, but yeah. I got her last hookup wig. I call them slut wigs, but yeah, they're just trashy blonde sheep wigs, and it's probably smothered in semen, but I still like to play with it sometimes. I'm sorry, everyone.
Any other thoughts on Sherry Vine? I mean, you were recently in her Swallow, Stars Born Shallow parody.
Yeah, the moment we finally got her to New York, I just knew this is gonna be great. The gang is all back together, me, Jackee, and Sherry. We could start doing shows again. And the first thing we did was write a duet, a parody together of Aladdin. I can show you L.A., Roscoe's Chicken and Sunshine. Anyways, we did this Aladdin video, and it was super cute and fun. And since then, yeah, we did a Bradley Cooper's Lady Gaga parody, and so it's just really fun to have a play partner around the house, yeah.
And you've often been the male co-star in some of the fantastic Golden Girls
Yes.
numbers here in L.A.
Right. I've been the go-to male character for these drag theater productions we've been doing since the 90s,
Yeah.
and it is really the most fun. I love getting to work with my best friends and acting like an asshole on stage.
Of all of those legendary productions, do you have a favorite?
Do I have I would say Telltale, which was an interpretation of Telltale Heart. The reason being is it was just Jackee, Sherry, and I. We started at like PS 122 in the Village, and it just got really great reviews. It was our own production, and it ended up getting picked up by the Broadway Corporation, and we were taken to the Cherry Lane Theater, which was the very first off-Broadway theater, and we did the show hundreds of times. And I was actually getting paid as an actor in New York City, and it was the first time in my life I really felt like a working actor,
Yeah.
And so I would say Telltale has a very special place in my heart, the Edgar Allan Poe interpretation we did.
Who would have thought that Edgar Allan Poe was your favorite role with Sherry and Jackee?
Oh, it was pretty campy, though.
I'm sure it was. Okay, look at all.
Alaska!
Now, this is someone that you're newer in your world.
Well,
but
yeah,
has
I mean,
performed
I
for you many
remember
times.
Alaska and I were friends before she became, this sensation that she is now. And out of, so many of the Rue girls, I really appreciate that she's as so famous and people love her as much as they do because she's incredible. But back in the early days, she was a little rough around the edges. She was kind of punk, and there's been some performances that I don't think she wants people to see anymore. Before she was in the spotlight. But I've always been a huge fan of hers and loved her so much. And now to be such good friends, and we have lunch all the time, and it's great. She deserves it all. She's hilarious. Some people just have it. That certain something that you can't imitate. Alaska is an authentic, original creature. She's a trip.
Now, the bar where you did BFD was also where Alaska did the door for many years, right?
Yeah,
or at least for a few months.
Yeah, she performed at BFD a couple times too. Yeah.
Well, do you have a memory of some of those wilder, older performances that you'd like to share?
Well, but I don't really think I should.
You don't want to spill her
I don't
tea?
think I should tell her.
They're
tea.
all on the internet, actually, and some of them involve a kiddie pool and something else.
Ooh.
Okay.
I didn't say it.
She said it on this show.
Oh, okay.
Look at her. Ah!
God, I know I'm supposed to be, throwing shade, but it's these are my girls.
No, these are your sisters.
I was raised by a pack of drag queens. These are the people that I have. These are my sisters. Heklina, I adore. I love San Francisco. Tranny Shack was one of my all-time favorite parties.
What was your first experience going there?
Well, when I think of San Francisco, there's a special breed of queen that sort of brewed out of San Francisco, and I think it's kind of reminiscent or sort of bleeding out of the 60s and the hippie movement, because just total high concept freaks. Think of the Cockettes and bearded queens, and more of like the freak queen, the monster queens. San Francisco really was the breeding ground for the monster queens. That's kind of where it was happening for. And New York was more like the glamour goddesses and the comedians, and each one of the legendary queens out of New York, they had specific wonderful skill sets, and they were really exquisite in their talents. The San Francisco girls were just over the top, wild, high concept, always doing something completely out of the box. And I feel like Heklina is sort of the catalyst for so much of that with Tranny Shack. She was every Tuesday night at the Stud for, over 13 years. And the best time ever. My favorite place to visit, San Francisco. Love it, love it, love it. And to me, Heklina is San Francisco,
Mm-hmm. Cold, grumpy,
cold,
hard to walk up,
smells bad.
Do you have a favorite memory from those parties with Heklina over the years that when you visited? Because so many drag performers came out of there and did wild stuff.
No, I was too drunk. I really don't remember.
Erica, did you ever go to that party?
Which one?
Tranny Shack.
Tranny Shack. Oh, I performed there.
And what number did you do?
I did my pumps about a million years ago.
Fantastic.
It was fun. It was really fun. I remember the first time we met Heklina, though, was at a party that we did, one of her New Year's parties. I remember there was a CO2 drop, and she got on the mic and she said, "Oh, Erica farted."
Oh, yeah, she's adorable like that. No, I do recall her eating ass on stage a couple of times, which I'm sure,
Right, that is
really life-changing for all of us to just see her and her authentic self just expressing her. Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Very beautiful.
I'm still inspired by that memory.
Hello, children. Click here. Click here. And subscribe. You're welcome.